Hello and welcome to episode 9. First things first, a little bit of news and updates. I sorted out the other machines here. There's no inventory view on them anymore since that is only for manual input, which we're going to sort out with hoppers along the top anyway. And I have moved the machine inputs to the bottom. Machine outputs, sorry, to the bottom, which means that we will be able to hook them up with inventory pipe, which I've got in my inventory here. But first things we need to do today for these is work out power. And as you'll notice, the dynamo is no longer here and the pool is covered up. And in fact, I threw the dynamo in the bin. Why did I do that? Well, I mentioned in episode 1 that I wanted to stay as far away from thermal expansion for everyday running of the base as much as I can, unless where it's, necessary. Like, I think it was okay to use it on the smeltery, but I'm not so okay with using it as a power source for these machines. The other thing that we should do is we should actually make a bibliocraft checklist so that I can keep track of all the tasks that we need to do. I know a lot of modders are getting into actually using these in their, not modders, sorry, YouTubers are getting into using these for their channel, but I actually love using them anyway because I'm a forgetful person. Okay, I need black dye, a feather, 3 paper, and a wooden pressure plate. I think we can manage that. The black dye might be the only interesting thing that we have to deal with, but other than that, that's fine. That's what I wanted. I also wanted the feather and paper. Oh, we got 2 pieces of paper. I'm sure I can find some reeds outdoors somewhere. There's the pressure plate. And black dye. Do we have anything that can be used as black dye? Probably not. It's okay. We can make a quick trip outdoors. And while we're making a quick trip outdoors, I also wanted to go over some stuff. I just want to get these because you've all been very, very bothered by the fact that I've continued to use good old zombie flesh as a food source. So instead, I'm still going to use it as a food source, but I'm going to make some monster jerky which doesn't poison you all at the same time. Alright, so let's just click on the bed. May as well do that instead of wandering outside. Ah, see, it's nighttime. Ah, haha. Gotcha. Alright. And then we go outside and we kill a squid. Shouldn't be so bad. The other thing I wanted to talk about ramble about while we're going to go off and kill a squid is that I had a question in the last episode comments around Forgecraft and FTB. Specifically, hey Rorax, okay, I don't have it right in front of me so I might get the wording wrong, but it was along the lines of, hey Rorax, you're on the Forgecraft server, why don't you have your pack on FTB? So how I read that comment, or how I understood that comment rather, is that FTB is Forgecraft, or Forgecraft is FTB. So, because you're part of Forgecraft, why isn't your pack part of the FTB? Okay, so the first... Oh, already a squid. The first common misconception to debunk here is that Forgecraft is absolutely not FTB. FTB, Feed the Beast, is a completely separate entity to Forgecraft. Feed the Beast is a company now. Actually, it is a registered company which creates and distributes mod packs to players. It hosts the mod packs, it lets you download all the necessary files for that mod pack, and then play that mod pack on your computer. That is what FTB does. That is what Feed the Beast is, basically, at the very simplest level. It does a few more things, community interaction, that sort of thing, but at its very simplest level, it's a mod pack distribution network. So what is Forgecraft then? And why does it get the misconception that it is part of FTB? Okay, first thing to address here is why it gets the misconception that it's part of FTB. I don't know. I have no idea why people think that Forgecraft... Oh, squid meat. Sweet. That Forgecraft is part of FTB. Or it's one and the same. Absolutely is not. If I was to hazard a guess, and this is only an assumption is not fact, I believe the reason people think that FTB and Forgecraft are one and the same, or are extremely related, is because Slowpoke sometimes plays on Forgecraft. Slowpoke being the company head for FTB. Yes, I think that is, at its most basic level, why people think that Forgecraft and FTB are the same thing. Because they see Slowpoke, and if Slowpoke's involved, they think, oh, that must be FTB. No. Slowpoke is a person, he is not a company, and he has his own friends and contacts within Minecraft community, and it just so happens that his friends and contacts also use Forgecraft, right? So he sometimes plays on Forgecraft with the others. And I forgot to get some extra reads. That's okay. Okay, so that brings next question. Well, if they aren't the same thing, then what is Forgecraft? Forgecraft is a testing server for mod developers. Those mod developers test their mods on the multiplayer server. So why do they test it on Forgecraft if they could test it on any other multiplayer server? Well, that's because Forgecraft, to some degree, as its own community, guarantees a certain level of... because it's for devs and basically run by devs, it guarantees a certain level of care and setup on the server, and the people who play on the server have the general understanding that it is not a server that will stay up for any length of time. Forgecraft can and has been reset at any time. Forgecraft 2 is especially that way. Forgecraft 2 can and will, usually on a more regular basis, be reset. The server is not for extended play. It is not even really meant for play. In all honesty, it's not really meant for standard play. It's meant for testing mods. A developer comes onto Forgecraft, they put their mod onto Forgecraft servers, then the people who play on Forgecraft, by playing Minecraft, end up running into and testing that mod that the developer put on Forgecraft. That's how things get tested. Sometimes the player actively goes and searches out to test the mod, and sometimes the player just through the course of play ends up finding bugs, and those bugs get fixed. Forgecraft is bleeding edge, which means that it is not open to the public, or the versions aren't publicly available because they're the latest ones in production. Usually, not always. So yeah, Forgecraft is a test server. So that also then brings us to the topic of, well, if Forgecraft is a testing server, why is it so publicly watched and viewed, and why can people, you know, see what's going on in a Forgecraft? Why is Forgecraft so appealing in that way if it's just a testing server? And the reason I would say that to you is because YouTubers. If YouTubers did not exist on Forgecraft, then Forgecraft wouldn't have the exposure that it does, and then it wouldn't be such a big deal. So why are YouTubers on Forgecraft? that's a history lesson. So, to understand Forgecraft's origins is to understand that Pahama decided one day that he would create a server where mod developers can come privately, test their mods on the most bleeding edge versions, amongst a small group of friends at that point. Small group of friends, developers, and then invite others later to come and test their mods on his privately run, privately owned server, and see how things go. What ended up happening then is a combination of community politics and drama, where because a bunch of mod developers started using Forgecraft for their testing, also by complete luck, those mod developers kind of stopped interacting with their community because they were getting all the information they really needed from those on the Forgecraft server. Like, their testing results and stuff were coming back from people on the Forgecraft server, and so that's where they were getting their information from. So communication with the developers that were on Forgecraft kind of dropped off. That led the communities of those mods then to start speculating where their mod developers have gone. Like, why isn't the mod developer communicating with us so much? Why don't we hear anything anymore? Oh, there's this Forgecraft server. There's this Forge server that has been set up by this Pahama guy. They're all on the server, and they're testing these mods. What's going on the server? Now, we also get into some, and I'm going to skirt around this one and not spend much time on it. LRAM started testing on that server. And I think, personally, now keep in mind this is my own personal opinion, I believe that's where the drama started. At that time, a lot of people were wondering, where is Red Power? What is happening with Red Power versions? Why is LRAM working on the mod but not letting us play it? What's going on? Why is it on this Forgecraft server? Because LRAM eventually ended up on the Forgecraft server. This ended up bringing a huge amount of attention to Forgecraft. And not the good kind of attention. People started saying, oh, Forgecraft is this Illuminati. Well, not strictly in that sense, but kind of along the lines to the meaning of Forgecraft is this Illuminati for mods. They're in control, they're doing all this stuff behind the scenes, they don't want us playing their mods, they're this kind of private party, elitist, blah 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 blah, kind of normal community junk that ends up happening. And to alleviate that, Pahama and Direwolf got talking. Now, I believe this is the history behind that because I'm remembering this from when Direwolf was talking about it way back when, with his first videos. But it goes along the lines of Direwolf and Pahama decided Direwolf should be on that server in order to create YouTube videos to show off what's happening on Forgecraft, so that people stopped complaining about developers hiding everything from the public. What the developers wanted to work out with Direwolf was that Direwolf would show what's happening on Forgecraft, and through that people wouldn't be so chomping at the bit to get hold of anything that was on Forgecraft. They'd go, oh, okay, this is the stuff that's going on Forgecraft. We'll leave it at that. We'll just wait until the proper versions are released. Through that, I think the history was lost. Or rather, the community started to forget why Direwolf was on Forgecraft in the first place. It was to alleviate that drama that was going on, that the developers are hiding away and doing all this stuff privately and they're elitist. No, they're just on a private server, it's private access. Look, here's what development is happening on this server. You can see that development through Direwolf's videos. So, that's how YouTubers got involved with Forgecraft. Direwolf was the first YouTuber involved with Forgecraft. So what I wanted to do before I got on that rant is I wanted to go get an extra piece of reeds. Or 3 pieces of reeds to make 3 pieces of paper. And it's nighttime. Yeah. So, a trip that I thought was only going to take a minute ended up taking quite a lot more time. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. But if I look at my map, you can see the lake there on the east side of our fortress. I travelled all the way north, up that, and back around the other side of the lake, and down, and then back into the fort. Slept, because it was nighttime. And that whole time I found no reeds. And then I decided to go west instead. I found the coastline and travelled down, and now I'm finally here. And I finally found some reeds. I have no idea why they're so rare around here, but they are. I'm going to keep looking, because 2 is not enough. Especially since, because they're so rare, I really want to make sure that there's some growing nearby as soon as possible. Because there ain't no shortage like a reed shortage. Anyway, I'll see you all soon. There ain't no party like a reed shortage party, because a reed shortage party don't stop. If I look at the map, I'm all the way down here. We started here. We're in the middle of the map right now. I came all the way from here, in the middle of the map right now, down this coastline, across here, and along here, till finally I found some reeds. Yep, and now it's nighttime, so I have to get back alive. So, I'm going to speed across the land, and hopefully I do make it back alive. And I'll let you know if anything interesting happens along the way. See you soon. Okay, so I died right outside. As you can see, the sun is just rising in the corner there. Damn it. Oh, that's even worse. I forgot about that. Okay. I made a temporary bed to get through one of the nights as I was heading down the coast. You can see on the mini-map, those are the cherry trees from way up by the coast. But I guess if I climb over the mountain, I should be there sooner rather than later. Oh boy. Okay. Died right outside. That is the story of my life. Okay, I'll see you all soon. And approaching the fort from the other side of the mountain. That mountain was huge. You know, once I get to my body, we can actually kind of start the episode. I'll have to pause it and check how long I've run so far actually, because who knows, it may already be time to wrap up after all that. But I've got a lot to cut out and things, so I very much doubt it. Yeah, I can't collect my grave because I need to break it. And to break it, I need a pick. 1, 2, 3. And, oh, good, a stick. There we go. I had to punch a cow while climbing the mountain because I was starting to starve. There's a lot of jumping involved in climbing these mountains. Yeah. All that for some reeds. And a lot of other stuff. Is there any more armor to equip, or was that it? There must be. There must be stuff. Because I doubt there's some multiplication going on. I see. Probably that. Are we good? We're good. Okay. Alright. So I'll plant them later, but because we do need to get a wriggle on. Start cooking some lamb while we wait. Eat some squid. Hang up some rotten meat. Delicious zombie flesh. So nutritional. Yeah, I picked up a couple of interesting saplings. There was a rainbow tree on the way, so I got some rainbow saplings and some green saplings. So now we have blue, red and green trees, and we also have really cool looking rainbow trees, which I'll plant a little bit later. Cucumber seeds. Bunch of lapis, which I decided to put in that chest for some reason. Ah yes, and I killed a couple of Gaia things, so I got some satchels and I wanted to open them on camera. So that was a book satchel, gave us protection 1, not amazing. Another book satchel, silk touch, that actually might come in handy. Where can these live now? They can live in here. I'm sorening this chest a little bit, but oh well. Got 2 of those, 3 of them. Alright, so paper. Oh. Feather, ink, paper, pressure plate, clipboard. It's good to get that done, believe me, with all the running around I did off camera. Oh, I had 2 in there. Good one. I could have planted them and not have to do all of that running around. Can't say I'm the best strategist. And the rainbow trees drop all sorts of dye, so that's why I had orange dye in my inventory, as well as bone meal. Bones are from skeletons, some dirt. I'll just double click all of these, make sure I've got everything out that I can. I also picked up a pumpkin. Believe it or not, pumpkins were way more common than reeds. Again, story of my life. So what did I want to put on this clipboard now that we can actually, officially I guess, start the episode? Let's see. So, this is our to-do list. To do. First thing to do is work out energy source, basic energy source. The second thing I want to do is that once we've worked out a basic energy source for the furnaces and pulverizers on my right, I want to set up a mushroom farm as our very first room. So in order to do the mushroom farm, actually we will need to build central cross X roads, and then path to agriculture, mushroom farm, and that will be the very first proper room that we build in the fortress, because dwarves need mushrooms, and if this was Dwarf Fortress, that would be a plump helmet farm, one of the very first things that you build. And I do need a good source of food, and you're probably wondering why don't I build wheat or something like that, a wheat farm outside? well, I'm a dwarf. I live in a dwarf fortress. I can't be seen eating disgusting surface dweller food. Meat and mushrooms. That's where it's at. After our mushroom farm, I think one of the next things to work on is the foundry, which will be where we do all the metal smelting and stuff. So I think that'll do on the to-do list for now. So if we open up that, we've got that, and what we can do is we can just change that when we're done with it, or cross it out if we don't want to work with it anymore. Or failed it, or it's not possible, or whatever. So I think that actually means some digging. So we want to get to some central crossroads. Now there is, if I can work out the key for it, there is an underground view that I'm able to look at. And let me just look at this here. Underground map mode. It's you, of course it is. And so what I'll be able to do now, well, that's nice. Although that will change as I rise and lower in elevation. But also I want to widen out this hallway as well. I think it's too small. Yes, this hallway is too small. I want it to be 5 wide. Let's see, how many is that? That's 5 as well. I think I want 6 high. And then I'll show you. We want some wall indentations. So like that. Just like that. And that will be the basic shape of our hallways through the base. And so now I want to push this out to go all the way to where the crossroads will be. The crossroads will be our central access to different hallways that lead to different parts of the base, different facilities of the base. And then I'll build the basic crossroads. It won't be complete, it won't be nice and detailed, same with these walls. Nothing will be nice and detailed, it'll just be functional. So, I'm going to speed up here and I'll see you all soon. Alright, I think that's deep enough for the first hallway. So it'll be a short jog from there until the crossroads, which will start behind this wall. So now I'm just going to shape out these walls so it matches the front there. Okay, see you all soon. And there we have it, the basic shape of the very first hallway. Nice and long, nice and grand, makes travel around the base a pain in the butt, but that's all part of it, because we're dwarves. And taking down some jerky, because I need some food. And then I'm going to drop off this stuff. Oh, it's so good just being able to double click these. Thank you again for that hint. I have too much cobble, so I'm going to keep a stack, but I'll throw away that stuff. Keep the coal and whatnot. Dump the squid ink. I have more food than I know what to do with, actually, right now. Copper into here, and it looks good. Alright. So, the basic crossroads, though. What's that going to be like? Well, I think it'll be circular in nature. We've got a nice square front hall, a kind of tubular basic hallway, and then I think like a cylindrical shaped crossroads. Oh, some nice caves. That'll make it fun to build in. Just light that stuff up and fight the zombie. So yeah, the basic crossroads though won't be much bigger than the hall. It'll probably be wider than the hall by 5 on either side, I think. In total, the distance that is, because of course it won't be exactly 5 square, it'll be 5 radius. So yeah, I'm going to speed up here and I'll dig this out and then I'll shape it and be right back. Alright, so that there's the basic size of the crossroads. Obviously needs to be dug upward to match the height of the hallways, but other than that, that's the basic size of it. As I said, 5 either side of this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on either side, and that was a total of 15, so we made it 15 that way. So what I want to do now is I just want to plot out the way to make this more circular. So I think it's going to be something like this, which will mean it will be floor to ceiling like that. And I think that's probably a bit too shallow, so more like that probably. Let me see. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Still a bit shallow. More like that, I guess. Then that is more of a octagon once it's complete. So it still needs some tapering, which maybe can be achieved by having the ends of the hall come out. But that doesn't make sense because that needs to go floor to ceiling. So that won't work. I think basically for a flat side, maybe more like that. So 1, 2, 2, and then 1 again. So get rid of that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total. So actually I think I miscounted. 7 and 5. So this wall here needs to be pushed out by 2. To have it match. Like that. Okay. So now we count 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That. Then 2 and 1. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that room going to feel circular enough? I kind of feel like I need to do some of the this to make it seem if it is circular enough. Steve needs longer arms. If you're wondering why I just bashed out the entire thing as a square and now I'm bringing it in again, it's just easier to plan out that way, rather than trying to design it around a circle to begin with, which can just make things tricky. Yeah, it might feel circular enough. I'm actually thinking that this room needs to be bigger, believe it or not. Probably 7 on either side, so 7, 7, so 14, 7 plus 4 is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 21. I can math, see? Yeah, so 21 by 21. I'm thinking, because there's not enough room for these to have a nice curve to them. This side is too flat because of the hallway. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to knock this out again and make it 7 by 7. So I'll see you all soon. Alright, I'm back. So it should be 21 by 21 now in total. So it should be easier to make it more circular. So if I do 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, like that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, and 2, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. If you're wondering how I do these circles so easily out of my head, it's kind of hard to explain, but one of my favourite forms of art is pixel art, and I do a lot of pixel art myself. And in pixel art, you learn basic patterns to making a good curve with squares, because of course pixel art is an extremely low resolution art form, right? So the point of pixel art is that you can see the squares almost, is almost what the point of it is. And voxel is the same way, it's just a three-dimensional version of pixel art, right? So one of these is a pixel. So I apply the knowledge from pattern recognition in getting a good curve to a voxel environment, and I get a similar output. It takes a lot of practice to learn the patterns. It's kind of a rote thing. It's not, there's no real formula to it, other than just kind of remembering sizes and so on when you're doing pixel art. So 3, I'm trying to count while talking. It's not good, not with my skills anyway. So, are the curves still too shallow? Probably. So maybe something more like that. Because that's the other thing as well, you just hear me saying, are the curves too shallow? It's all about like finding, okay, does it feel circular? I know that sounds a bit hocus pocus, but it makes a lot more sense once you're in it. Like, I think that feels more circular. So if I block up this, and my mini-map should actually help with this actually once I start blocking this up. Because it will show me how things are looking once the light's blocked off. So if I look at that mini-map now, it's kind of hard to determine from this distance. So if I press M and zoom in, it actually feels a bit diagonal. Like now it's too steep. Now it's going back into feeling like an octagon. So maybe I was right in the first place and I was just overthinking it. So if I do this, it's a lot easier to tell. In this way, when I'm using the minimap. Because I'm seeing it top down then. If I zoom in again, yeah, that's more circular. Okay, I think we'll stick with the 22122 curve. Yeah. Yep, alright, that's how we're going to do it. So I'm just going to do that for the other corners, and then I'll be shaping the rest of the room, and like taking out this roof, and then I'll be right back. See you soon. Okay, so that is the rawest of the raw for the crossroads. That is as basic as it's going to look. What I'll actually do is I'll mark out these bits so I don't forget them when I build hallways later, because those are just the runs that I've got going on this hallway and those corners there. Yeah, looking pretty good. And the same for this one. And so now I have to pick a direction. My instinct tells me this way. I mean, it's the ugliest and I have to go through dirt and gravel, but I feel like agriculture should be that way. Somewhere down a hallway, and then a mushroom farm. Yeah, speaking of, we want to do... we didn't sort out the basic energy source that we want to use. We haven't built that path to the agriculture area yet. We did build the central crossroads. Awesome. So, what I will do is I'm actually just going to go and check out how the recording is doing, do some basic editing so that I can see how long it's running, because of course I have to compress time and cut bits out, so I don't know actually how long this episode has run so far, and then I'll be back. I'll see you all soon. Alright, I dug out that, I sorted out a couple of the walls, but after checking the footage, it ended up being somewhere over, I don't know, an hour again. And I'm not doing another two-parter. I can't do two-parters in a row. I'm sorry. Especially not when there's that much to this episode. I feel that's that interesting. So we're going to have to wrap up here. And all told, it's going to really count in the comments for who stayed for this little wrap-up. Because somewhere near the beginning of the video, during my rant, about what Forgecraft and what FTB are, there's a mysterious cut. It's a cut where I'm wandering around the bases, I say and then there's a cut, and it's like, okay, I'm wrapping up now and heading up some stairs. I actually just cut out some redundancy. I started to define what Forgecraft was all over again, so I just removed that. But it's going to be interesting to see who sees that at the end of the episode, and who hears me now talking about that at the end of the episode, and who doesn't, and thinks it's something crazy or really, you know, gossipy that I've taken out. No, it's just some redundancy. So yeah, what we accomplished for this episode was not a heck of a lot, but we have the groundwork to actually do something next episode, which is going to be fantastic. So I guess this is goodbye. I'll see you all next time. Bye.